What's up, guys? My name is Andy. On my 68 F100, I've got a busted hood hinge. It doesn't want to, actually, well, that's why I got this prop right here so I can hold it open, but if I take this out, see how it's like falling forward, and yeah, see, it shouldn't be doing any of that. It broke, and actually the problem, I could tell that my hinges were on their way out. And I thought, okay, well, if I can get a little extra life out of them by greasing up the joints and just kind of just get a little more life out of these hinges. And as I was doing that, I busted this little piece right here. And this little guy is supposed to be actually up that way. And it connects these two parts of the hinge. And with that broken, this whole hinge system doesn't work. And I thought for a minute that I could just weld that back up. But really, it's not worth the hassle. I mean, a new set of hinges is $100. I'm not trying to do full restoration on this truck where I want all original parts, so it doesn't matter. So I went ahead and ordered a new set of just aftermarket hood springs for this truck. And so let's go ahead and get these things installed and get that old guy out of there. So if you guys are set up like me and you don't have another helper with you at the time, you can do these by yourself. I'll have to do one at a time, and that's okay, we can do that. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna mark on this hood where this bracket piece was, so that when I put the new one on here, I'll be roughly in the same spot, and then I can fine tune the fitment when I get done. That way at least I know it won't be completely off by a long ways. And then we'll put a couple of blocks underneath here just to support the edge of this hood while I take this off, get the new one put on, and then do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just gonna put just a Sharpie mark basically where this edge stops, and the bracket actually comes back past the end of the hood here, so I think we're just gonna use that, and I'll just use also just a line right there to know this going, this direction. Let's get these two unbolted, and then I'm gonna put a block underneath here. Now I've got that pole already holding up the front of the hood, so we're good there, but we'll just put some wood in the back, then I can disassemble this, and then we'll take it off the fender. Okay, all right, now this hood's wanting to move forward. And again, this is where if you had an extra set of hands, it'd be really helpful. Okay, I'm just using my old hinge as a prop to keep this hood, because the hood's wanting to slide forward off those blocks. If I had a single block, they wouldn't slide. But again, having extra help would be fantastic, but I don't have that right now. Cool, so now I'm gonna just prep this area up a little bit. There's quite a bit of rust in there. I'm not gonna really deal with that right now. That's a project for later on, because there's so much that has to be done here. But I'm just gonna clean up a little bit, and then we'll get the new hinge installed. Now, something I should have done on this was mark the vertical placement of this. There's slots in here, and if I'd have marked that, might have made it a little bit easier to know where this thing needs to sit, but it's okay, we'll figure it out. Okay, now this is the tricky part. Getting this back lined up with where we were before. Now I've got this line, it's hard to see in the camera, but the Sharpie line's up at the top there, but we're missing the one on the side. So I'm gonna have to do a little finagling afterwards, but at least we got that part set up. All right, so now we got this one in place, and we're close enough for now. This is a good place to start, because from here I can get the other side done, and then I can they're not tightened all the way, but I can loosen them up a little bit and tweak the hood and put things in place. But let's take a look at the old hinge. So again, here's that piece that was busted off of there, and you can kind of tell this thing's starting to tweak. Everything was coming apart on it. I mean, this thing was on its last leg anyway, so that's all right. We got to replace, and now we're good to go. So now that that one's done, let's go ahead and get the driver's side done real quick. And just like that, we're all done. Okay, so the next step is to align the hood and make sure that it fits right when you close. That's gonna have to be some other video. I am not the best at doing that. That's kind of thing where I'm probably gonna have a friend come over and help me do that part to move this around. And it's gonna be a combination of the bolts up top and the bolts on the side there, and just getting everything positioned to right where it needs to be so when it closes the hood. Because when I do it now, let's see here. Close this down. It's not too bad. I'm a little high down there on that end, so I can adjust that. This one isn't too bad. When this thing fully seats down, it might be just right. But then, I don't know, I got this light plugged in here. I don't want to close it all the way, but so this is something that, I'll lift this up, there we go. That's something that's going to take a little bit of time to dial that in, and I can do that later. But the important part was to get those hinges out and show you guys how simple it is to do the hinges on these hoods, especially when you're by yourself. So again, guys, this was pretty simple. I'm by myself. You can do it by yourself, a little bit of patience, and then using your old hinge to prop up the hood. Now, if you had painted, fenders and stuff like that, maybe you don't want to do that, and having a friend with you would probably be best. But trying to make do with what I got it done. The hinges are in place. The hood does open and close. That's the important part. It's not all broken, and this hinge is, yeah, we can get rid of that guy. Just throw this away. I mean, this thing is just all bent and it's just not any good. And these just aren't worth salvaging. You'd have to, it's not worth it. Cool. So, all right, guys, that's it. That's how you swap out the hood hinges on your 67 to 72 F100. I'm sure the 73, the dent sides, I'm sure it's the same steps. And just marking on the hood if you can. If you've got a painted hood, maybe you don't want to do that. You can use a piece of tape to put a piece of tape on here to mark where those edges would be. And then there you go. Pretty simple. All right, guys, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And if you subscribe, I appreciate it because it helps my channel out. And we'll see you in the next one.